Welcome back, everyone. Final Hero of Court of Swords, week 53. Adam, what does she say? We need to know.
So yeah, we fade back in on this strange, tall, gaunt warrior woman's face as she looks down on the group of you, and Kalimat has just introduced himself in the group, and she says she looks at you and she says, "I have come to retrieve you," and she gestures down a pathway.
Consider us retrieved. And I start walking.
Okay.
I stand up from kneeling, and I'm at the back of the group, probably just trying to study and figure out where we're at.
Yeah. Okay. So she takes you. She takes you on a long walk through the gardens. Speaking as you walk, she says, "It is my regret to tell you that you will not be able to meet with the mistress directly, as it is a day of mourning. But all that she knows, I know. Her intent and answers to your questions."
What is she mourning?
She shakes her head slightly as if she too is sad, and she says, "This place," she gestures around, "is both temple and tomb to Anu." As if you should know who that is.
Yeah, can I make any checks to see if I know who that is?
Yes, totally. You can make a history check or a religion check or.
Inanna and Anu, eh?
Dan, are you going to make one of those?
I'll make a religion check while you make it.
Okay.
My brain just went Inanu Nanu. Sorry.
13 and 11 for Dan.
Okay. All right. So, Ramus, religion check. Anu is the name of a minor functionary of heaven. Minor in that, like, he died a long time ago. A god responsible for moving the stars around in the sky, organizing the constellations. A servitor of the arcana of the star.
Minor shit, just cosmic star shit.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah. I mean, he's not as important to humans as like a god of the ocean,
Right, yeah.
or a god of fields, or the god of fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so Anu is some star god, and history.
So I know who this is, right?
Yeah, right away you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's his name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's the only entity who was ever able to keep themselves upon looking on her. And supposedly the only creature that Inanna has ever truly loved.
One other question. I don't want to break this up too much, but
No, sure.
do I know what happens or what has happened when that god potentially passed away? Are they replaced? Does the functioning of the stars cease to exist? Do I have no idea?
That's a religion check.
Okay, all right.
There's
I
complicated shit that happens there.
Ain't nobody know that. That's the spice of life. Ain't nobody know.
That's why I didn't want to break it up too much, because that's probably a big answer.
Yeah.
So
that's what she says. Do you respond to that name at all, or?
But just from context, my very next question was going to be, it seems they were lovers. Is that an accurate assumption?
She nods and says, "Between Inanna and Anu was a love purer than any mortal." She keeps walking. And then
I should love to hear the story, for I am a songwriter in my own right, and I always love a good love story.
She nods and says, I shouldn't say anything, but she makes like a sound of like, like sure.
I lean,
Okay,
yeah. I think once that's said,
acknowledgement, like, yes, I'm sure you are.
You can't even possibly comprehend their
Yeah.
love. You don't understand.
once that's said, I definitely lean into Kalimat's ear right behind him and say, "Do not ask them such simple questions. You cannot comprehend. I cannot comprehend what is occurring here. Just let us get to where we are going." And I kind of like walk ahead.
Well, Sully, One learns to comprehend by asking questions. Now, don't we?
I turned back around probably the fastest you've seen me move. And probably my
Yeah,
voice
just like-
is, like an octave or two higher. And I just say, you cannot comprehend this. And I turn and walked, once again following behind them.
Yep. Like watching a movie you really like with somebody and they just keep making jokes.
Yeah.
And you're like, sure, shut up, it's cool.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's
You don't
deep.
like it like that. Okay. So so she's willing to like chat with you as you walk through the garden, and we're seeing these scenes of verdant beauty, right? Of strange flowers. Occasionally a bird will flutter by with a long tail of beautiful feathers. The place has it has a peacefulness to it for sure as you walk around.
So have you like mind melded with her so you like share the same information?
She turns and kind of cocks her head and looks at you, and she raises an eyebrow and she says, I didn't see you there. Odd. No, we are separate, but Inanna shares with me.
Well, she and I had an arrangement where she would share some information with me. Do you have that from her?
I have the information that you seek. Yes.
May I have the information that I requested from her?
No, you may not. There is something else to discuss first. And as she says that, you find yourselves walking through, and you literally like find yourselves like it's not as though you are walking from point A to point B. You're just kind of moving, and then you're in a place. And so this is a courtyard. There is an opening above with bright light coming down, settling on a table. The table has 8 seats around it, circular table of stone, and then there's a bench around the outside edge with plants kind of all gathered around. This appears to be the only entrance or exit from this little area. And she steps in and she gestures to the table, which you now see has on it a plate of pomegranates in the middle, a silver platter piled up with pomegranates, and there are wine cups sitting around the table, though only at 5 of the seats. So she gestures with a finger, which you now realize has like her fingers are like a foot long each and have 4 or 5 joints to them, and so she like unfurls them and gestures to the table and says, "Please sit."
It's got an ET finger, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, do I fit in the chair? Is it uncomfortable? Or does it fit to how my body sits?
I think it can. Yeah, I mean it's comfortable for you. They're just
Okay.
like stone, like stools, essentially.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep. I'd take my seat.
You will.
Yeah, I guess Bird walks over. Yeah, sits down.
All right. So she goes and she reaches out and she takes a pomegranate from the table and draws a silver knife from her belt. It's like curved silver thing with some jewels set into it, and she starts cutting into the pomegranate just kind of casually while she's talking. And she says Inanna is curious about the 4 of you, and you are looking for information about your nature. And she's gesturing a little bit with the knife while she talks, and she gestures at you information about your nature, and gestures at Ramus, and then your people, gestures at Kalimat. Inanna knows many things.
Yes. I'm very confused about how I'm still here when all the teachings of the religions should say that I shouldn't be here right now. Yet I am. I'm very confused.
She nods, and she says, "There is no reason for you to be, Ramus Grill. Your body is empty, devoid of spark."
Is there a way to get the spark back?
This is something that we are interested in as well. Inanna has curiosity, but no answers yet. An offer for more information, but in time. She turns to you, Kalimat, and so she's cut the pomegranate now, and she's like kind of gutting it, like pulling the seeds out, and putting them on a plate that's in front of her. So she looks at you and she says, "All alone in the city of Brass. I know what that's like, to be alone." What are you looking for?
And you see, like, Kalimat's smile, like, fade.
Mhm.
And what looks like sadness just kind of wash over him. Because he doesn't, Kalimat stays a lot of it on the surface. And getting deep emotion is not something he's used to. So he can usually, I mean, he's charming. He can talk his way out of anything. But when she says, like, the words just resonate with him, and he just kind of slumps a little bit and realizes, like, the truth of what she just said.
Mm. And she says, she sees that, and she says, "Don't pout, little dragon. There's gold in this hoard for you as well." She pops a pomegranate seed in her mouth. And you notice when she does that her, you notice her teeth are all like filed to points. Like she has like really sharp looking teeth. And she turns to look at you, Berg, and she smirks, and she says,
Berg has exactly this face.
"Yeah, totally." She smirks a little, and she says, "The mistress is particularly curious about you. So broken, and yet
No one
just."
could fix.
She says, "Sometimes it's not about fixing, but about finding the next thing, understanding why. I think that's why you're here, isn't it?"
Maybe.
And she turns her black globe eyes on you, Sully, and she says, "Do you say something before she can ask?"
I want to hear the beginning of the first word, and then I'm going to interrupt no matter what it is.
Okay, so she looks at you and she says, "What brings you
And then
here?"
I interrupt and say, "I understand where we are, in some sense, but I do not wish to enter into any transactions or deals with you or Inanna. I am simply an observer for these three, and I do not wish anything of the great wizard."
She scowls and she says, "But what of the price you already owe her?"
I did not enter into that accord. You must be mistaken.
She gestures as if referring to the place you're in. She says, "So few mortals have seen this place, been allowed to leave,
I did
and
not,
now you come here, casting your eyes about this sacred place and expect to pay nothing for it.
I did not ask to be here. I was simply following my friends.
And yet you came, uninvited.
Unbeknownst to me, I did not enter into an agreement.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. There's a price to be paid, even by you."
Then send me away. I do not wish to be here.
She grins and she says, "Oh, it's too late for that."
Honey.
I close my eyes and start like just making arcane.
You go in your shell?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happens. I go into my shell. I just retreat into my shell. Yeah, and you hear like the voice echoing from within. I do not wish to be here. Send me away.
And I look at her and I say, it appears that we can't unring this bell. Is that right?
She nods.
All right. Well, I, for one, look to make the best of it. Solly, how about you?
Send me away, please.
I think as he's saying that, like, and kind of freaking out, Berg looks at the shell and then looks at her and goes, "You scared him. Why?"
She grins and pats her sword on her hip, and she says, "Being frightening is a part of my job."
My head
This
pops
face
back out. And,
on Berg's the same face again of just.
she says that and my head pops back out. I'm not afraid. I simply, like I said, do not wish to enter into any transactions with the wizard.
Berg continues. "You don't scare me."
And she says to you, "Well, I'm not trying to frighten you, Berg." And she turns back to Ramus, and she says, "A simple exchange for you and your friends. Inanna has a task for you. Perform it to her satisfaction, and you will all be rewarded."
Rewarded with what specifically?
For you, Ramus, information about what's happened to you. It's going to take Inanna some time. She has questions to ask. Part of this task will help her in these things. She will share with you what she learns.
Okay.
She turns to you, Berg, and she says, "For you, warrior, where to begin? There's so much wrong, so much to be repaired. So many steps from here forward. What is it that you want most, or first?"
I think he's
good.
frozen.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
That's what's so good about it. Berg's just like,
it was perfect.
Can you hear me?
yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Said, "What do you want most? What do you want first?" Right?
Yeah, what do you want most, or first?
I don't know. That she can help me.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, that arm looks like it needs some help. Maybe start there.
Yeah, she looks at your arm, Berg, and she says, "Transmutation, simple, absolutely."
Well, the arm then. If she can help any more than that.
And and she turns to you, Kalimat, and she says, "Perform this task adequately, and Inanna will introduce you to someone who I think will be of great interest."
I shall do my level best. I look forward to meeting this person, and if it's a female person, all the better.
And she turns. Sully, are you still in your shell?
It's only my head is out of my shell. Everything else is. I'm like leaned back against the chair, and my head keeps like slowly popping out and observing
so
everything as it happens. So she says my name. I probably like cower back inside a tiny bit.
She looks at you and she says, "And for you, a squaring of our accounts. Payment for," she gestures around, "knowledge rendered."
I look at the other three and take my time doing so, understanding that with them understanding the knowledge or receiving the knowledge that they're about to get from this quest, that I'll also prosper in the sense of gaining the knowledge as well. But I answer back and say, "I wish to know more about this place as well. That seems fair."
She nods, and she says, an opportunity to explore the temple tomb. This is amenable to her.
And questions will be answered.
She says, "You may explore on your own."
2 questions.
She smiles, and this is the first time it isn't like a "I'ma eat you" smile. It's it's more like a, "Well, you've got some guts," and she smiles again and she nods. She says, "Very well, 2." And
I accept. And I come back.
and so she turns back to you, Ramus, and gestures, and you notice that your cup, the crystal like goblet before you, has filled with wine. In the absence of your looking at it, and then you look around, and so has everyone else's. She doesn't have her own, but she says, "Then let us seal our pact. Drink once, and give the rest to the stones." She gestures like with her head to the floor.
Before we toast, might I trouble you for your name? If that is offensive, I take it back.
Make a persuade check.
Okay. Oh, come here. There we go. Mm,
Can use inspiration. Nope, never mind.
Totally doesn't.
Don't need it.
Didn't even need it.
Yeah.
All right. So she looks at you for a second, as though this is like a weird question to ask her, and she says, "I am Inanna's handmaiden, her warrior priestess. I was called at one time by my people when I had one, Nin Sabur, the loyal one. Now," she just gestures, "I am my mistress's implement."
thank you. Shall we drink?
I have one question first. What happens if we fail our task?
I like the idea of like you keep going to drink and then somebody's
Yeah,
like,
it's like, "Ah,
God.
That's exactly what I figured. Like, let's drink. Never mind.
Yeah.
So she says, so Ramus, you said what happens if you fail your task? She says, she says, I cannot see the future, but I imagine it will be unpleasant for you. Inanna's disappointment will be secondary to whatever else happens.
Are we to return to this place?
Can we know what the task is before we agree to it?
We just start barraging her with questions.
Totally, yeah. She sighs and she says, "So many questions. Will you do it or not?" So some furtive looks around the table.
Yeah, I'm looking at everyone. I think Solly's the first one to agree to it. 2
Yeah.
questions about this place is like a fucking gold mine, so I'm...
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I'm in.
I honestly thought she was asking Ramus personally, because if that question was posed to the group, I would have totally been like, "Yes, adventure, let's do this, yay!"
Yeah, I mean, she's treating you as one object.
Yeah, I thought it was
Okay.
at Ramus for a second, but then I realized it was towards everybody.
Well, I pick up my glass again.
Very well.
Okay.
Yeah, one hand comes out of the shell and then drinks it.
All right.
Sip, pour it on rocks.
Berg takes a hearty, swig of it and then slams the cup down and said, "What do you want us to do?"
So
Yep, we all do
whatever the drink is, it isn't like wine made from grapes. It's got a strange sort of burnt like sesame like taste, and it's oily in your mouth.
I thought that's what I tasted.
You can feel it in your like esophagus, and then she instructed you to like pour the rest on the stones, it feels like strange in your mouth, but it eventually that taste fades, Yeah, and you notice now, and she did that thing where like it's like she always had it. She's got a book under her arm, and she places it on the table, and gestures, and it opens to a page, and on the page you can see moving kind of shadowy scribbles. The kind of like your hammer, Berg. Like there's it's a still image that is moving kind of gently on the page, and it appears to depict a house in ruins. You can see bits of wall, maybe a tower with some light flickering in it, but it's up on a lonely precipice, and behind it there is a black tapestry of stars. And as she speaks, the image sort of writhes and moves, and she says that among the others here, the Lady Inanna has many rivals. This is the home of her greatest. His name is Utrix, master of 7 potencies. A powerful wizard, a meddler. He has allied himself with dangerous creatures. And when she says that, you can see kind of writhing around the base of the precipice these kind of images, these shadow images of vaguely bipedal, kind of golem-looking creatures, and they kind of fade back into the shadow as she speaks. And she says, he has been performing innumerable blasphemies, but in particular an experiment our mistress desires to know of. And you see a man carrying a staff, wearing a long like robe with a hood. You can't see his face, but he very much has this kind of like evil wizened like wizard kind of look to him as he hunches through the shadows of a hallway. And we open up into a room with a dais on it, and you can see laying on the dais a woman, a human woman. She's naked and very pregnant. She seems unconscious. She's lying on her back with her hands folded over her chest, and he comes and like kind of hovers over her creepily, and she says, Utrix seeks to circumvent the wheel to give himself eternal life. Birth unfolding like a lotus of 1,000 petals. We want his experiment. And she takes her hand, like she opens her hand, and she has what looks like an acorn in it. And I guess she gives it to who's sitting closest to her.
I would be.
I would think it would be Kalima.
Okay, so she hands you this acorn, and she says, our mistress discovered a key to his realm. The door is hidden in one of the lower districts. I will send you there. Use the key, open the door, find the experiment, steal it away from him, and bring it to Inanna.
Now, forgive me for being so bold, but may I ask for specific instructions on how to use this key? Because we had a little bit of trouble getting here.
She says, she says, stranger, if you spend some time in the city of Brass, you will find that not all doorways lead where you expect. Simply hold the key, open the door, and it will take you where you are meant to go.
No magic words? No, nothing like that?
She shakes her head and she says, is not the ability to move from one place to another without traversing the distance in between magic enough for you?
Does she want discretion in this task?
She laughs and she says, if you are not discreet, the wizard Utrix will know, and he will find you, and he will make you regret your indiscretion. Our mistress cares not for it. Stealing from another Sahir is brazen, but Inanna is many things, bold among them.
Stealth mission it is.
I would ask one more question. It's a selfish question. The person given our task completed, the person I'm to meet, can you give me any more information about this person?
She says, the wizard Utrix.
No. My reward.
She shakes her head and she says, let us save the sugared plums till after we've eaten our dinner.
Well spoken. Now, one last minor question. Could you fill up my glass one more time?
Yeah, so you say that, and I think she turns her head and like cocks her head slightly and kind of scowls a little bit, and she says, "We have no more time. You must go." And you can see her brow is furrowed, and you can hear just barely, like faintly, somewhere in the distance or maybe all around you, the sound of a woman sobbing quietly, her voice like muffled by her hands. And so she stands and she says, it's time for you to go.
All right.
Yeah, we all stand. I look to her and say, we will return.
Do we come back to the same place we entered here? Or will you come to us?
She nods and she says, our mistress will send for you.
Very well.
As they're all talking, Berg's just been walking, like by himself.
Yeah,
He hasn't
okay.
stopped.
Sure.
He's like, all right, let's just fucking do this.
Can you like send us there?
So she stands and she says, there is a gate. Come with me. And she walks through an archway out of the circle that was not there before. And so I think the last thing, like where you go, she walks you down a tiled corridor to another open area. There's a pool, stone edged pool, and you can see at the far end of the pool on the other side, you can see that there is a woman, and she's wearing a long red veil and a red and gold dress, and she's sitting on the edge of the pool, looking down into it, and you can see, or we can see tears falling from under the veil into the pool and setting it rippling. She stops for a moment and looks over at this figure, and then turns to the group of you and gestures at a door. There's a stone door, and the door is just standing. Like you could walk around all the way around it if you wanted to. It's just standing in an archway that seems to just emerge from the floor.
I guess Ramus will open the door.
Okay. So you open the door, Ramus. You can hear the bustling sounds of the street. It looks like you're looking into an alley. You can see there's shadow coming from above. It looks like the city of Brass, but it also looks like it's daytime. There's definitely sun, and you can hear people, and you can smell the dust of the road.
Well, thank you, ma'am. We'll be back with this experiment.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna
walk through.
You're gonna go up. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually I kind of let everybody walk through, and I just just linger just a little bit to look at the crying woman,
Okay.
and I just
So you're standing next to Nin Sabur, and she's also looking that way. Like it's that thing is like as soon as you leave, I'm gonna go over there and talk to my lady, but like
right, yeah, sure.
yeah. So
I mean, just seriously, like 2 seconds. I just stop and try and burn this image into my memory, and then I go.
okay. Yeah, and I think the last thing you see, we get this moment where you're looking at her, and it's like she can feel you like looking in her direction, and we see her head start to like lift up and turn towards you, and then almost like you're pushed through the door as you turn to leave, and the door shuts. And then the four of you are standing in this dusty alley. There's carts going by. You hear an elephant, make its elephant noise. And suddenly, like all of the moisture that was in the air is gone. Instead, there's dust and heat and the smell of the city. It's all completely changed. And behind you, there is a door that is like cracked open slightly, and you can hear the sound inside of a kitchen. You can hear people jovially like shouting with each other, someone chopping vegetables. There's just some talk. And yeah, you're in this alley all of a sudden.
Berg's just looking at his arm, like a little disappointed. He's still got to deal with that.
Nothing's for free, Berg.
You think she'd want to fix it to help with this task?
It's not how they work.
It sounds like we need to be quiet on this mission anyways. Fighting would probably draw attention.
Then what am I here for?
Your intellect, of course.
I giggle a little bit.
Berg just shoots you like a
Berg.
glance, like,
Berg. You know why you're here. You're here as the last option. And you shall be the last option for anyone who steps in our path. Correct?
Berg sits and thinks for a second, and then kind of like looks like he's really thinking. He's like,
No. I don't know why I'm here.
and then just walks away.
All right.
That's one sad dude.
I'm gonna add a quest to your quest log.
All right.
Also, big ups to whoever added the screenshot of the reading to the log. And nice work. That's some good note keeping.
That's really good.
Okay, so you have a quest, and it's from Inanna, and it is recover the experiment of Utrix of the 7 potencies.
Yeah. My notes are funny today. One of them is turtles are lactose intolerant and omnivorous.
There you go. There you go.
You never know when that might come up. You really don't.
No, yeah, I have that next. Yeah.
Inanna grabs you and she throws you on the ground. She gets out a carton of milk and she's like, "I'm gonna make you
No,
drink this."
no, don't do it, please.
The one thing you cannot have.
Yeah. Jesus.
Starts pouring milk up your nose. So yeah, like,
I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
it's like waterboarding but with milk. So you know the Inanna has left in all of your minds a place. You can envision it. You know how to get there, even if you've never been there before. It's in one of the lower districts of the city. You can see in your mind's eye a door into an apartment inside like a tenement building in one of the lower parts of the city of Brass, and you know it. You could go there in your sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think after Berg walks off, I turn to Calumet, who's probably more of a confidant than Ramus is at this point, but I'm not keeping it for Ramus. You can definitely hear what I'm saying. I turn and say, we should not make friends, although we already have, nor enemies, like we're going to, of these wizards. I hope you understand what we're doing.
I do. And nothing is gained that is worth anything without sacrifice, without hardship, without maybe doing something that you wouldn't want to do. This is just a bigger game of dice.
You know that golem that we found?
Mm-hmm.
He's building something. We
I got that feeling.
We should finish our job before it finishes. I'm worried.
What did you see?
Looks like stairs going upwards to the sky. You can interpret it two ways. Either whoever controls it wants to go up, or
Well, words sometimes have two meanings.
have something coming down. I just ignore Ramus. or something wants to come down. Either way, it's bad for the city.
I remember as a child sitting under a tree thinking, I wonder if I could build a ladder to the stars. Maybe that's what he's doing.
I just kind of sit there and think, and then I turn to Ramus and say, you're not wrong. They have two meanings. We'll find out which one.
Very well. I don't like making deals with people like that either, but sometimes you have to take a big chance to get a big reward.
We'll see if it's worth it. Let's go find Berg before he gets into a fight. Let's kind of scurry off. Go find Berg.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So you set off after Berg. So I guess like what prep is there to do? Is there anything that you want to do before you want to go and open this door? Any things you would like to try to learn before you go? Anything like that?
The name of the experimenter is Utrix.
Utrix.
Yeah. Utrix of the Seven Potencies.
Okay.
Of the Seven Potencies. What a nice little name for himself, huh?
Mm-hmm. All seven of them. Not merely 6 out of 7. Certainly not 5 out of 7.
Berg the Destroyer, Berg the Undying, Berg the Enduring.
This guy's got 7 potencies though. So.
I'd love to try and get more information. I'd love to try and get more information about Utrix of the 7 potencies.
Yeah, can I make an Arcana
Without
check?
trying to give myself away. Like I'm talking about asking around town, asking in the lower districts, maybe paying for some information, something like that.
Well, I might know being a wizard of this, but it's probably not going to be that much information, I guess, as far as what he wants to go for. Like I probably know like top or not top level, but like surface level.
Each of you could do a different skill. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Zeke can go first because he had the idea, and then I'll go afterwards.
Okay. So you are going to ask around, right, Kalimat? That's your plan?
Yes, I'm going to ask around, and if there's a way that I could just like, it's like social engineering, like make them say the actual name of the person. But
right, you're not just walking around being like, yo, you know about Utrix? You gotta know
exactly.
Who knows Utrix?
How many potencies you got up in here? Okay. Sure.
Pardon me, but how many exactly?
Yeah, I think this is kind of the same. This is kind of the same jam as before, right? It's investigate with charisma. It's using your knowledge. So why don't you roll? Let's see what the difference is here. So your investigation with int would be +1. So roll investigation, and then we'll just add 3 to whatever you get. And you do this. You split up to do these things. This is like I'm gonna go gather information.
Yeah.
I guess
I'd probably work better on my own for this particular part.
I don't think Sully Hoffa wants to split, but if they go on their own and want to be alone, then I'm upset by that, but I'm not going to be like, no, take me, please.
Yeah, totally.
I think I would want to go to the library and try to look up historical texts on him, and bring Sally Hoffa with me since he's a smart wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Would we be going to the library that you know, or the library that I went to when you weren't here?
Whichever library is closest to us. Doesn't really matter to me.
just
Just
take
the
me to a
library.
library.
Okay.
It's whatever.
Because the library we went to on our other characters was more of like speaking with souls type deal.
Yeah, that was like a temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
really
freaky deaky
good.
library.
But
particular god.
I'm known, at least I was there already, so maybe I already have an in at that other library that I went to in the first episode.
You've probably been to like all these libraries. The guy there is
yeah.
like, "Hey, Sally,
Yeah. I got a new book. You want to check
how
it
come
out?
you no come by no more?"
All right, so let's start with the information gathering by Calumet.
Okay.
So investigation, and then whatever you will add 3 to it.
Okay. 12.
Okay. So 12. Yeah. I mean, I think that you barely get past the like let's talk about wizards thing, right? Because everybody in town knows that wizards live in the city of Brass, and there's a bunch of theories about like one guy tells you that he drunkenly tells you that he started a business. He used to be a businessman. He started a blacksmith, and everything was going great until he got cursed by a wizard, and that's why he went out of business. His wife left him. His kids hate him because of wizards. Fucking wizards did it, man.
Totally.
And you hear about like all the mysterious things. Like sometimes like some people say like, oh, the city would never exist without the wizards. And like if they weren't here, the powers of hell would come and eat us all up. And some people say the immortals are actually wizards, and other people say the wizards are immortals, and there's no difference between the two. And like there's a lot of kind of misinformation about that. I think that you do indeed learn that some people know the name Utrix. Utrix is known to be one of the Sahir, one of the wizards of the city of Brass. And other than that, you don't get too much, I don't think. In that he's just buried in too much like wizard stuff to really get any specific information about him.
Wizard stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So
No,
while
I
that's
got it.
while that's happening, what else is going on?
Me and Dan are
Sully,
headed to
are
that
you-
library. But
you and Ramus go to the library.
I do want to make 2 checks. One, just like this happened probably the second that Collie left. I'm just going to make an Arcana check to see if I know the name in that sense. And then when we go to the library, I'll make the history check with Ramus's help probably. If you'll allow that.
Okay. Sure. Yes.
All right. Arcana check. 26. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm killing it today. Okay. So Arcana, Utrix of the 7 potencies. No one has ever really been clear about what these 7 potencies are. They're very potent, whatever they are. Some
There are
people,
7.
some people suggest that it's the 4 elements, the void, and that Utrix has somehow discovered 2 additional potencies that no one understands.
Oh.
Right? He can see in 12 dimensions or whatever. Utrix is universally referred to as people use the word transcendent around him, like he has transcended something. That's a thing. They're like, oh, Utrix, yes, most transcendent one. I think that that he dwells in a realm outside of reality. He has his own. Some people think he's created his own universe to live in. Other people think that he found another one and became king of it. But he is unlike a lot of the other wizards in that he hangs out in the world. Like he will walk the streets of the city of Brass. That that he is not one of those wizards that is so set apart that he's not able to interact with humans anymore. And that occasionally he will come to the city to find people who will serve him, right? That he has an ancient hall in this other realm, and that that people work with and for him.
When people
Do you have other questions about Utrix of the 7 potencies?
I
You might
The
know.
people's wizard.
yeah.
He might.
Within the Sahir, the group of wizards that you referred to, is he one of the newer ones? Is there a order of age or rank among them?
No, Utrix is one of the elder wizards. There are that's a good question. There are absolutely Utrix is among the elder. There are others that are younger wizards. Yeah, he's an oldster. He's been around a long time.
Um,
Yeah.
On the morality scale, where does he sit?
He is referred to as being a creature of wicked imagination and vast capacity, but who is drawn to society, who is drawn to engage with people. So whether he's there are some wizards who are they have just gotten so powerful that they can't even interact with humans. But Utrix likes people. He likes interacting with them. Whether that means he's nice or not is entirely up to you.
We're gonna find out he's a good guy.
Oh,
We're
totally.
supposed to.
That's totally.
He's gonna be a real nice, real sweetie pie. Be like, hey, Berg. That's how he sounds, by the way. Let me fix your arm. Yeah, it's all fixed up. What else you need, friends?
Here's how we can do this. Ramus, do you have any questions for me about this person that I might be able to recite? At least arcana-wise, not necessarily history-wise.
Yeah, so this would be about him as a wizard and about his wizarding stuff.
On the totem pole, how powerful is he? Is he
Well,
one of the
Ramus,
most powerful? One of the
he's
weakest?
Listen, man, he's got all 7 of the potencies, so he's very potent.
Get a lot of mileage out of that potency.
Yeah, seriously. Each potency more potent than the last. Motherfucker's potent as shit. He's
got infomercials running around the city. Having trouble with your potencies? You know what I'm talking about.
He once jerked off in Alabama and got someone pregnant in California.
So he, despite above and beyond his mastery of all 7 potencies, he stands apart from the petty battles of the Sahir. He defends himself, but his drive is his own business. He is happy to defend himself. He has made alliances with the other wizards. There are wizards he likes or doesn't like, but he doesn't. He's not one of the schemers.
Okay. And then final question: are there any others Sahir that have battled with him or have issues with him besides Inanna that I know of? Or is that a history? That
would be more history, like the history of the battles of the Sahir. Yeah.
The last thing, arcana wise, is he weak to anything that we know of? That
Does
I
he
know
have any
of?
weaknesses? What did you get? A
26. One off of a crit.
Yeah. I don't know if you can determine how you figure this would be a weakness, but you do know that Utrix is particularly interested in the idea of legacy, the idea of continuing his the passing on of his power.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, maybe he's not so potent in one way that we think.
Maybe not.
Can't pass on.
Maybe he's just that's why he's got all his potencies to create a lasting legacy.
I laughed.
We're losing Max. Adam's kicking him off the
for a
call.
second. He's very concerned with. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes we can.
When you said he's very concerned with, I was gonna be like, getting an 8th potency.
Oh.
You gotta
Just wants to get there.
Okay, and then me and Ramus are off to the library.
Okay. Yeah. So you visit now. This library what is its primary focus?
This library was probably the same one that I went to when I found about when I first heard about the different portals within the city of Brass.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's create here. We're gonna use the investment rules. So you have the opportunity. I think that the library you've wrung it out of all the information that it can give you. You're pretty covered. But you can, if you want to, spend some money to invest in the library to improve it.
To have them studying while I'm gone, basically.
Yeah, so let's. I think the libraries are divided by like skill, right? So there's essentially a history library. There's an arcana library. There's a religion library. There are several of them, but you can invest some of your cash in one of these. So what skill is this library in particular focused on?
Well, the one that I first visited was where I learned about the time-based magical doors. The one that there was a sub-catacombs that has the door that leads to heaven. That's super important. And then at some point there was a division between the gods of old and the bureaucracy of heaven. In relations, in others, it's like the evolution of that whole process. So was that all at one place, or you think that's multiple? Is that three different skills to begin with?
I think that probably would be different skills. So like for now, let's just pick a skill and we'll assign it to this library, and you can invest some cash. You can tell me how much money you want to spend on this particular institution.
Maybe this whole library is for the knowledge of the Sahir. Is that
okay? So an
too distinct?
arcana library?
Yeah.
No,
okay.
not at all.
We can pull back. It would definitely be like an arcana library.
Yeah, so it's an arcana library.
But it's more the history of the arcana, not necessarily the actual arcana, like the inner workings of it.
Arcana the skill rather than the arcana like the gods.
Yes.
So not a religion. Ironically, an arcana library might be a religion skill library, but yeah, an arcana library focused on magic and its uses. Okay. All right. So, how much money would you like to put into this library?
Well, I have 199 GP. I don't know how much we have as a party.
As a party, we have 1,200 gold.
What would be a large amount here, Adam?
So, in terms of its significance, the tiers are notable, significant, and exceptional. If you want to make this library notable, you have to spend at least 100 gold.
Oh, I'd put 100 of my own gold.
Okay. All right. So it is a notable library. So a notable institution remains available to perform special services for you or other adventurers. Basically, you can go here any time of day or night and basically get an advantage on a Arcana roll as long as you're doing research in this library.
Okay.
Cool. All right. There you go. So you've sunk, and the next tier, and I'm happy to just tell you this. The next tier is 1,000, and then 10,000. And you can spend those in bits and pieces. I'll keep track of how much you've spent on that.
How much? At what point does the library start making money for us?
That's not really what libraries.
God damn it, Adam!
You're a patron of the library, and you've donated so they can buy more books and do all that business.
How much for a plaque, Adam?
Yeah, I was gonna say, 10,000 will get you a wing named after you.
Well, no, I don't want a wing. I want a goddamn bronze statue. Okay.
Yeah, if you get to 1,000, they'll put up like a plaque and be like the Sully Huffa collection. But yeah, you're basically paying them that they can like put that money into the library to improve.
Okay. Yeah, I give them 100 of that.
Yeah, so it can provide information and be available to you.
Yeah. Now, is this gonna apply to the history roll that we wanted to make to learn that stuff?
No, this will be for like future, unless you want to change the library to a history one instead. I would do that.
Dan, are you comfortable? Well, I mean, I guess it's my money. I would rather do that to put it towards history so we can learn something else.
We can have another history, no library that's history.
You want to do oh shit! You want to do
you
three
can
libraries?
Totally invest another 100 gold somewhere else.
You want to just go throw 100 gold at a bunch of libraries?
Yeah, we can make.
Who gets the plaque though, Dan? Is it a plaque of Ramus or is it a plaque of Sully Hoffa?
Well, you can have the Arcana library.
Okay.
And I'll take the religion one.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the historical library you're going to sink some money into? What is its focus?
That's your library, Dan.
It's interactions in the city between people, historical records of business transactions, things that have gone between people.
Oh, like a hall of records.
Hall of records.
Yeah, records.
Nice. Okay. Hall of records. That's very useful. Okay.
I feel like if Berg cared about gold, me and Ramus would go back. We spent like 400 gold today. What'd you buy? Plaques.
Supported the arts. Okay, so how much are you spending on this history library?
100 gold.
100 gold. Okay, so mark off another 100 gold. And it is now
Save
a
your
notable,
receipts.
It's
Yeah.
now a notable library.
We can write this off in a year from now, so save it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You guys are making sound tax decisions here.
So you put some money into these two libraries, and yeah, cool. And then you can use them for rolls. So do you want to do that? Do you want to do that history roll now?
I do. Yeah, I have a 7 in it, Dan. I don't know if
Sure, you do it then. I have 4.
Okay. And so this is studying in the Hall of Records. So you have advantage. And this is about historical interactions, who owns what in the city, those kinds of things. What do you want to? And you're looking for information about Utrix in the Hall of Records.
I want to know who owns the apartment that we're going to.
Ah, okay, excellent. Yeah.
At least one part of the. I'm sure Dan might have other stuff.
And also, if there's a history of interactions between Inanna and the other wizard, or
Oh, and Utrix.
like business transactions or anything like that, she would have a grudge about or something. Possibly.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Hall of Records probably wouldn't have that information on the Sahir because they kind of do what they want, right? Like they don't have to pay taxes, and they're enormous, powerful, arcane entities.
Those are the two things I think we want to know at base, but we'll see how well I roll and go from
Yeah.
there.
Let's have that roll and we'll see what happens. So with advantage.
Okay, 20.
Okay. Right, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Utrix and Inanna and the other wizards, I think they exist on paper as like patterns of places that are uninhabitable due to like magical incursion, right? Like for example, there's a spot in one of the squares where most of the year nothing is there, but then during the void days, a tower of black smoke appears for 3 days and then vanishes, and anything that was built there is instantly like evaporated or destroyed. So there's a record in the records that are like, do not build here. Like this is just wizard shit keeps happening. Just leave that square alone, leave it empty, stay away from it. The place that you are headed is it's in a lower area of the city, a relatively newish like neighborhood, but it's basically like a ghetto. It's a place that is occupied by people whose legal status is uncertain, which, if you were to ask Berg, it basically is secret code for like escaped slaves, criminals, people trying to stay off the radar. There aren't a lot of clear ownership papers over anything in that area. So it's kind of a scummy part of town, mostly left alone.
Is there any, with the 20, is there any records of Utrix occupying the apartment?
No, I mean one of his 7 potencies is like a series of shell companies, so he probably wouldn't.
Naturally.
Yeah, I mean they're wizards, right? So he doesn't have like a signed lease or thing. But yeah, I mean this particular building, I think that it's on paper it belongs to a dwarven a merchant who lives in the city.
Okay. I had a question. Now I forgot it. Shit.
The name of, I'm just gonna get a name for the dwarf. Her name is Sabine.
Sabine.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. I don't have any other questions. Dan, do you have any other questions about the historical?
Nothing I can think of now.
Okay. So, Berg, while they're doing all this librarying, what do you do?
I don't know. It's tough
actually
because Berg isn't really like a thinker. You know what I mean?
No,
like he's not. Good.
No, I actually had something that I wanted to do with you, Berg.
Oh, okay.
Since my like quest to get more information kind of just fell flat on its face, I couldn't get anything out of anybody. I come back to our headquarters or whatever you want to call it. And
the shitty inn.
The shitty inn, and I was wanting to try to get you to open up a little bit to me and maybe tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell me a story from your life or something like that.
Well, why don't we start the next episode with that scene? Why don't we start there?
I think it'd be good.
That'll be a nice warm up scene. So let's start there next time.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay.
Sounds good. I'm just formatting
Good.
this quest log a little bit better so it's
Yeah.
easier to read. Well, cool.
Yeah. Looking at goals.
Oh yeah, let's do those.
I don't think anyone accomplished them, but you're definitely on the way. If
I'm gonna
you
get a
finish
fat
this-
amount.
Yeah, if you finish this quest, Berg will be able to resolve one. Ramus will resolve one. Calumet will resolve one, and Sully, you will
3.
potentially resolve. Yeah, there's some room to resolve all 3 of them, but on everybody else's.
On everyone
back.
else's, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which
why I
is
was trying to get the fuck out of there without her owing anything, or without me owing anything, because I was
Yeah.
just gonna get XP when everyone else finished their shit.
Totally, I like it. That's great, and that's how you write goals, right? Where you're just like, yes, everybody do whatever it is you were gonna do. Bam, I got all 3 of mine. I'm done. Royal flush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was a lot of fun because I was trying my hardest, but you're just like, you're not getting out of this shit, JP.
Yeah.
Do you would you like me to change, or would it be more comfortable for you to change my third, like try something new and exciting or whatever? Because, like,
No, did you do something new and exciting?
You went to a
today?
fucking another plane of existence,
Yeah,
man.
he went to some crazy mystical morning plane.
I was
where-
trying to like punch that into you when I was strongly worded, like, fucking don't try to comprehend or question any of this shit.
Oh yeah, no, it's something new and exciting that you did today. Totally. Take 750 experience like last time.
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that worked out. Dan, did you get any of your goals specifically?
Not yet. I'm on my way for one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally.
Probably change one of them next time. Next
Mm-hmm.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Now that you know that there is something coming up, right? Now that you know that there is like this quest ahead of you, you could change your goals. You could be like, steal something valuable from, find out what the fucking potencies are, steal something from Utrix's lair, that kind of thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's do some shout outs if I can find my mouse. There it is. Zeke, do some shout outs.
All right. What up, everybody? Thank you very much for having me. I'm having such a blast on Court of Swords. I hope it lasts forever. I love it so much. I look forward to it every week. It's the highlight of my week. I want to thank Dan, Max, JP for being great party members, and also, of course, to Adam for being such a wonderful GM. Variety Broadcaster, I'll be on Drop Frames tomorrow, and then after Drop Frames, if you want to tune in, I don't know when exactly. I don't know how much setup I'm going to have left or whatever, but I'm doing that tonight, and I'm going to try and get it done before tomorrow. But after Drop Frames, sometime I will be doing my live Thanksgiving dinner cooking cast, and I will be deep frying a turkey. I'll be making mashed potatoes and gravy and pumpkin pie all from scratch, and stuffing all from scratch. So if you want to tune in and watch someone who's fucking totally inept in the kitchen try and cobble together a goddamn Thanksgiving dinner, that's happening tomorrow after Drop Frames.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's it.
Can you?
Oh, and follow my Twitter. Follow my Twitter, Ezekiel_II. I'm really close to 40K, and I want to get there because I want to be verified never.
Zeke, just please make sure you defrost the turkey before you put it in
It's
there.
already defrosted, assholes.
That's all. That's not an ass.
I've been getting it all fucking day, dude.
Okay, that's me
Yeah.
worrying for you. Just be like derp to derp. Oh God! And then he's
No,
running out of the room.
I brought this idea up, and the first thing 20 fucking people said, like, you've never to dump to a frozen turkey.
Have you ever seen those videos? You should show the
Oh,
video.
yeah.
You should show the video and act like. Try to find a video that looks like it's you dipping the turkey in there, so people think it's you dipping the turkey.
But you see, the thing with this is it's a fried. It's like a fried thing in McDonald's.
Oh yeah,
You just drop it.
I've
It's
done
like
it
a basket.
before.
You just drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun as hell
So
to
it's
do.
it's not that dangerous.
It's fun as hell to do. And measure your oil. That's the other thing. Just be careful.
Yeah, man.
You probably have been
Yep.
told this a billion times. Max, if the internet's stable, do some shout outs. You good? We good?
Yes.
Go.
Can you hear me okay?
Quick, go. Do it quick.
Hi, I'm Max. Don't follow Zeke on Twitter. I'm gonna do another rival Thanksgiving stream. Is what? I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's been fun. I'm gonna keep it short. That's all my shit on this side. Hope you enjoyed it. Coming at you live from a hotel. Next time I'll be in my proper setup. Hope you enjoyed it regardless. And of course, I like doing role play and look forward to future stuff. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody else. Have a good one.
Awesome stuff. Dan, some shout outs, sir.
I am DansGaming /DansGaming on Twitch. Easy to find, variety streamer on Twitch. This was a blast. I look forward to this every Tuesday. Tuesday, my favorite day of the week because of D&D. And I can't wait to just go into the Wizard's Sanctum and see what's up in there. Because in the Wizard's Sanctum, anything can happen, and which is the most exciting thing. I can't wait till next week. Thanks for having me.
And last but not least, Mr. Adam Coble, do some shout outs.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. As usual, the Q&A for today's episode is live at community.imejp.com. So pop on over, ask questions, and if you want to dive deep into the background and the lore, if you want to see all the secrets about Utrix, including 5 of the 7 potencies, you can find that out over at twitch.tv/Adam Coble in my VODs. You can tweet at me at skinnyghost, and you can find me right here for Nebula Jazz and for more of this action next week.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, that's it. We're going to record a quick Patreon video because we did go a little bit over today. So you can watch that over at patreon.com/roleplay. Me and Adam will be doing a 2-hour Q&A on Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern. So if you have questions about how any of this operates or anything like that, it'll be available for patrons as well. So
Me and Dan will be doing a quick A&Q as well at the same time.
nice.
A little different.
Nice.
I'll
They
be
give
at the
you
end if you wanna
answers
meet me.
and you just have questions. It's really weird. No one,
Exactly.
It's a weird thing.
Jeopardy.
We're trying to mix it up.
Answers to all the questions you never asked.
Yeah. I would actually watch a video where you and Dan just shout answers to things randomly back and forth.
With no context.
Listen,
With
I'm
zero
loopy, all right? I'm not
context.
operating on a lot of sleep.
It'd be great. It'd be great. All right, that's it. We're out here. We're going to record that Patreon video. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.